Good evening, everybody. This is at Great Cowboys 1964, and I'm joined by Julian tonight in place of Randall. How you doing tonight, Julian?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. We had some pretty decent games today. Let's go over last night. Oregon pounded Minnesota 42-13, Clemson 20, Louisville 19 on some awful field goal attempts by the Louisville Cardinals. Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, as if we're going to start with the Oregon game, obviously, I think everyone expected that.
Yeah.
Um, I thought there would be a bit more tenacity from that Minnesota defense, but listen, when you're playing an opponent like Oregon, no matter how you perceive them this season, that's the result you're going to get. And the officiating wasn't perfect in that game. But even if you take away one of Oregon's touchdowns, that might have been miscalled. You could say 35-13 is still a whooping. So.
Yep. Yeah, indeed it was. And you go out to Eugene, you're not going to be going to a very fun place to visit. So again, that Minnesota defense, they played decently, but again, Oregon just way too much for them.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I mean, if you expected anything else, I mean, you might just be a Golden Gopher fan because that's
I think so. Yes.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That would have been the ideal scenario for Gopher fans, but yeah, that was awful.
Yeah.
All right. So today we had the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame, of course, my team beating Pittsburgh 37-15. I did enjoy watching Aaron Donald push Pat McAfee around when, of course, Pat McAfee gave him his Notre Dame prediction at the end of the game. But other than that, yeah, the Fighting Irish, they just blew this game open in a quick hurry. Jeremiah Love, a 56-yard touchdown, and then Teo Johnson with a pick that was a pick six immediately right after, and that game was over.
Yep.
Yeah.
It ends abruptly sometimes,
Well, Notre Dame has been putting people away this year. I mean, they've just been pounding people.
I mean, Jeremiah Love is probably the best player in the country. I mean, no matter how you value the running back position, Jeremiah Love is fantastic.
And he is. I mean, he had more yards on the ground than the Pittsburgh offense had for the entire game at one point.
He's electric to watch, and he can be literally the only reason you can tune into Notre Dame games because that's how good he is. No matter what you think of the passing game or the defense or the coaching, Jeremiah Love on any collegiate program is a reason to turn on their game at any level.
And Mike Denbrock, I still despise you for that first week not using Jeremiah Love against Miami. That annoyed me so to no end. When you've got a rookie quarterback out there in CJ Carr and you're making him throw the football 9 straight times, that's stupidity. Bottom line. The Navy, if you're not aware of this, Julian, I am a former United States Marine Corps member. So the Navy is, of course, we are part of the Department of the Navy. So Navy ends South Florida's playoff chances, I think.
Yeah, that likely ends South Florida with playoff contention. But what I will say for Navy is that, again, it's not the typical program that you're tuning into. But they want to speak about electric. That is such a fun team to watch, and the fact that they're actually good doing what they do. Heidenreich with a one-handed catch. I mean, such a bunch of fun players, a bunch of true athletes, right? I mean, you have to be part of the Naval Academy or any sort of United States military group. So you're just playing supreme athletes, and even if they're not the best football players, they're better than USF today, and that's all that matters at the end of the day.
That's all that mattered. And when you saw USF this morning coming out with their toques on, and it's like, okay, that's not real cold weather, but again, for these guys from the University of South Florida, that is cold.
Yeah.
I mean, that was bitterly cold for them, right? All right. Mike Elko's number 3, Texas A&M Aggies 31, the South Carolina Gamecocks 30. This was two different games in one. The South Carolina was up 30-3 at halftime, and Texas A&M managed the comeback.
Well, that's when you have you have such different calibers of teams. I'm sure the game plan going in, that Beamer ball game plan was great. It looked good. They were out coaching Texas A&M right after that the Elko extension. But if you cannot adjust, you're going to lose football games, especially when you're playing an opponent number 3 ranked Texas A&M. It doesn't matter. Obviously, it's not pretty for A&M, but
Yeah.
I think the fact that every single player and all the coaches went out there down 4 scores after halftime, and you win that game, that is resilience, that is talent, that is Texas A&M football, that is third-ranked football. Like I'm I'm not a fan of either of those teams, but I'm very proud of Texas A&M, and it makes me more excited to see what they'll do coming down the stretch.
Yeah, this was because I mean, okay, even before Jimbo Fisher was around Texas A&M, they still always recruited these 4 and 5-star guys before Jimbo was there, while Jimbo was there, who ended up absolutely sucking. These guys were horrible, and they proved that by not making the very good marks in the pro ranks either. But again, this Elko team seems to have a little bit better of a balance than the other squads with their 4 and 5-star recruits. That they deserved the victory today.
Yes, they do.
Yeah. There's the Hoosiers, 31-7 over Wisconsin. I mean, okay, Wisconsin is not a very good team. We all know that.
No.
But the Hoosiers just I don't think anybody talks enough about the Indiana Hoosiers defense.
Agreed. If we're going to go with the positives for the Hoosiers, week in and week out, you got guys like Aiden Fisher, one of the best linebackers in the country, and then I think D'Angelo Pons is such a fantastic football player.
Okay, now Pons needs to come to Dallas in the draft. Okay, so don't mention that. Don't mention.
Well,
don't mention.
That's when you talk about the draft, that's a guy that's going to fall no matter what.
Because of his height. Because of his height. This guy's going to be a perfect slot corner in the NFL, guys. That's and that's the thing that people that follow the draft the way that you and I do. He's a guy that we're watching because he has a slot cornerback. I mean, he is going to be a good one.
Oh yeah, I'm going to have him as a top 30 player in the draft. This is a fantastic football player. I don't know. We don't grade for height, and even NFL teams don't. But they have to think more logistically, like, where am I going to put this guy on the field? But when you're grading a player, this is a fantastic football player, and like honestly, he could tackle even though he's 5'9". He's so sticky in coverage, and he's a game changer. Like, he is honestly the game changer. When you're running the ball, it's Aiden Fisher. It's those linebackers. Mikhail Kamara, I think he's having a down year, but he's still a good player. But yeah, if you're trying to pass the ball in this Indiana defense, especially with a freshman QB today for Wisconsin, it's not happening. You can't throw to your receiver one. You can travel Pons to your receiver one, and it's locked down.
Yeah, that's the bottom line of that. The Cincinnati Bearcats are now gone from the Big 12 race because they lost to Arizona 30-24. That school up north, it's that, and that's what I refer to them as on here, is that school up north. Went to Chicago today and played in Wrigley Field. They had 5 turnovers and won the game on a last-second field goal. I don't give them any hope of beating Ohio State this year, even though they're at home in their big house, blah, blah, blah. I don't consider the Wolverines as having a prayer against the Ohio State Buckeyes at the end of the month. Do you?
Well, it's similar to any level of sports. When you have a rivalry, there's just something different in the air. So I will never rule out the team, especially with them beating them last year. I'll say Michigan is slightly better. honestly slightly better. Some may say a lot better, not slightly better than last year. They're barely squeaking these games out. They're going to stay ranked because they want that. They want
They,
that matchup to be
yeah,
special.
they,
They
they,
want that.
they want that. They want those numbers to be high.
They want those numbers to be high. Do I think it's going to be close when it actually comes to game day? No, I think Ohio State will wipe Michigan or that team up north off the map.
Yeah.
But I won't rule them out. Then I'll look silly because if they win, then I'm the guy who ruled them out.
I don't care if I end up looking silly. I really don't, because that school up north, I despise with such a passion. And what happened to Michigan State this week, losing their games and all that other jazz because of the Mel Tucker garbage.
Yeah.
Again, this goes to the whole NCAA and their feelings towards certain schools, et cetera, et cetera. I don't care. Michigan should not have their national title. They should be gone.
Yeah.
I don't care.
It's a weird double standard, especially if they're going to remove Michigan State for ineligibility. I think with proof of sideline cheating, sideline scandals, like that's something that you can't be leaving that up in the air.
And again, they get away with that, but the Spartans have to give up their victories and everything else. It just drives me off the deep end. It really is totally bizarre to me. Okay, USC 26, Iowa 21. Malachi Lemon had a hell of a good day.
Fantastic football player. He's a joy to watch week in and week out. That Iowa offense is not. They'll always be feisty, like in that Oregon game, but you just know at the end of the day they're probably losing.
Well, again, if Iowa ever got an actual pair of wide receivers and a good quarterback, and they keep their tight ends, as everybody understands that they all go to the NFL, and their defense, which is always a solid group, then Iowa could be back in contention. But again, until that happens, this is what Iowa's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, it was a step in the right direction trying to get Gronowski. He was a great passer in the FCS with South Dakota State. But if you only take one of those guys and then you don't build around him and then you focus on running the ball, then there's no hope for a passing game. You could pretty much put a running back where Gronowski is. And that's not a slight at Gronowski. I think he was a solid player.
He's a very solid player. Very solid.
You take away the option to pass the football and then he just becomes a running back. So
yeah.
That's what it is. Week in, week out. Iowa football.
All right. There we have it. The Sooners travel to Tuscaloosa, and they give Kalen DeBoer his first home loss, 23-21. What'd you make of this one?
A treat to watch. I love all types of football. I don't need a high-scoring battle. John Mateer is one of my favorite QBs, and with that injury, it set him back. But we saw his drive to win football games with that touchdown run, and we saw the coaching ability of Venables and everyone on his staff to lock down a high-powered Alabama offense, and that was really the treat to watch. Pressured Ty Simpson constantly, sacked the quarterback, and on that last drive, it really was locked down. There was no chance, even though they completed a 16 or 15-yard pass to get down to 4th and 6, whatever. I knew that there was no completion that was happening after that. Ty Simpson is a good player, but that defense with Bowen, what a fantastic game he had. So, wonderful.
North Texas pounded UAB 53-24. LSU snuck by Arkansas 23-22. That was for Randall because he's in Fayetteville.
With LSU, it's crazy to see them fall off the wagon like this, but
not really. No, because they were led by Brian Kelly.
Yeah, no, but it's something that even if it were to happen in Alabama, I'd also be shocked. Last year, I was shocked that they were as average for Alabama as it was. So it sucks to see LSU play like this, but a win is a win, and those guys that are planning to stay into next year at least have some morale to build on and some relationships that they can find comfort in.
North Dakota State 48, Northern Iowa 16. North Dakota State, I don't care if people do not understand that level of football is excellent football. They are unbeaten. They have a really good quarterback.
Yeah, Cole Payton.
Yep.
Very fun. Very,
very fun.
Very Taysom Hill-like with
Yep.
a raw arm that, listen, 1-year starter. And this is something we see constantly from North Dakota State quarterbacks. How many of them have been drafted? You got Wentz, you got Easton
Carson
Stick.
Wentz and
Easton Stick, then Trey Lance, then Cam Miller, and then probably Cole Payton this coming draft in April.
Yeah.
Fun player.
I think that young man needs to spend another year in university though. He needs to spend another year.
Yeah, I don't know how his eligibility would work. I think he's listed as a redshirt senior.
Yeah.
I don't know if he could stay in school, but I think with how we see the NFL draft, someone like Jalen Milroe, who was below average at a big school, someone could take a top 100 swing on Cole Payton, who was very much above average at a lesser with lesser competition. Right. I think that balances out. You got Jalen Milroe, good school, average play, and then Cole Payton. I'm not going to say bad school, but in hindsight, bad school compared to Alabama, but fantastic play from that guy.
Yeah. And James Madison, 58, App State 10. James Madison is now the number one Group 5 team to make the playoff.
Even a team like James Madison is so fun to watch. I love Alonzo Barnett. I don't care if he's not he doesn't have the size or he doesn't have the arm. He's very fun to watch. Petaway's been fun to watch this year, and even last year I really liked him, and that defense just shut down. App State's not great this year. Lost a few players in the transfer portal, but I mean, a 58-10 win is something you celebrate in the locker room, especially now that they move into that first spot, as you said. Yeah,
exactly right. McAfee, you're West Virginia. They lost again. I'm sorry, Pat. I just heartbroken. Arizona State 25, West Virginia 23. Marshall is on here because this is the anniversary of the We Are Marshall plane crash from 1970.
I think I'd seen something like that pre-game.
Yeah.
Good for them to get the win.
Georgia Tech, 36, Boston College 34. Okay, Georgia Tech, their offense is awesome. I don't care what anybody says. Their offense is awesome.
Fully agree.
Their defense, of course, it had a bad first half. Let's put it that way. But Georgia Tech ends up with the victory.
Yeah, I mean, like we said, a win is a win. They're a ranked team, but to struggle like that against Boston College, especially coming off that loss to an unranked team, was it their last game or the game before?
NC State.
Yeah, if you pigeonhole yourself into a certain offense, they're fun, and I think Haynes King is a solid player.
Yeah,
they're not built to pass the football like that. And they successfully did it this week against a 1-9 Boston College. But if they keep doing that, then forget about it. I know they had college football playoff.
Does Bill O'Brien get fired next? Is he the guy that's gone next?
Probably, but I think he could find himself a nice job somewhere in a slightly better program and maybe work his way back up. He's still young, relatively, so it's just not the end of Bill O'Brien as we know it.
No. And there's NC State today getting pounded by Miami 41-7. NC State, when they beat Georgia Tech, it was to save their coach's job.
Yeah.
And it worked. It worked. I mean, now of course he goes on the road down to Miami today, and they just get pounded 41-7. The Cavaliers just keep on winning.
Yeah. Very, very fun team. You don't really hear much of Virginia football, but I'm glad I'm glad they're winning football games. Especially they have a few fun players, but a lot of good players such as Malachi Fields from last year transferred or
Yeah.
whatever they'll declare for the draft. So the fact that they're still winning football games and handedly beating certain teams, Duke's a good football team. They're not someone to look over. A good quarterback.
Okay, so I'm gonna bring out the basketball side from Puke U last night because of course West Virginia had 5 guys left on their squad, 5, and they beat the 15th ranked Blue Devils. That was a joy to watch. But again, yeah, like you said, Duke has some very good football players this year. They're just not a team that should have been in this playoff picture, yet they were until today.
That's when you shell out big money, no matter what level, NFL or college football. Now they're shelling out big NIL money. That's you're going to have some big expectations.
Yeah,
and Darian Mensah is a great football player. He could run the football and he could throw the football at a high level. Yeah. He might be a first round pick next year. But he can't do it alone. It's not a great defense. The run game averaged less than 4 yards a carry, I think 3 straight games now. And they have good receivers, but again, when you pigeonhole yourself into a certain type of offense, these defense coordinators have been around football very long and they've been coaching football very long. They know what's happening. They're not gonna expect the run play on 3rd and 18.
No.
When you're down 10 points.
They know it's going to be a pass. I mean, that's the obvious angle there. All right, yeah, we could discuss this. This Texas State Trooper guy was just I'm sorry. You're there to protect people. You're not there to attack the players. I'm sorry. You just don't need to do this.
Yeah.
And he was removed from the stadium and everything else, but that was just a little too bizarre for me.
I agree. I can't even we could talk about it. We could look at it. I think that's something that is so bizarre because what is happening? Did he think that this guy was going into the locker room? There's a certain job that he's assigned. I get it, but that was truly baffling because you have no. What are you doing? What are you doing hitting these football players that? Yeah, you could run there if you think they're going into the locker room and it's not allowed or whatever. But you don't have to. You don't have to do that. That's
no. You just don't need to go to that level. It used to drive me bananas when I was watching football as a young man in the early 70s with Bear Bryant being surrounded by these Alabama State troopers. What the hell is this? Just a college football coach. He doesn't need, bodyguards all around the guy. But again, that was different. That was a different era. But yeah, it really was bizarre to see that at the A&M game. Nick Harbor's not a small fella either, and that trooper could. I mean, if Harbor had lost his cool with this guy, that guy could have been sent to the hospital.
Yeah, and it's for me, it's more like why is that happening? You see some words are exchanged. Yeah, it seems like every player on the South Carolina, there was like 3 players. They're just walking away, and the fact that there was no reaction is a great testament to maybe someone like Nick Harbor's personality and the guy that was standing next to him, one of his fellow players. But that officer did not need to.
It was really, really bizarre to me.
Instigation.
Let's take a couple of seconds out here for a commercial or two.
All right.
In 2006, we founded Yeti Coolers with a simple mission: build the cooler we use every day if it existed. One that was built for the serious outdoor enthusiasts rather than for mass discount retailers. One that could take the abuse we knew we'd put it through, out in the field and on the water. One that simply wouldn't break. We decided early on that production innovation would come from necessity and first-hand experience, not from market research and data analysis. Today, Yeti products perform when it matters most. Whether that be an excursion into the remote Alaskan wilderness, chasing redfish on the Gulf Coast, or just getting together with friends in the backyard, we make gear that helps you stay out longer, travel farther, and live harder. #BuiltForTheWild.
All right. I know you watch the draft eligible players and all that good sort of stuff the same way that I do, and all that fun sort of stuff. Did you have Arch Manning as a first round pick for this year in your summer scouting? Did you?
I did not, and
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
yeah, and it's not that's not a comment on his ability or anything. I'm I'm heavily in the boat of first year starters with a lot of eligibility left. There's no reason to go to the draft, and
Bingo.
I'm also not expecting a lot. You know what I mean? Like I'm sure
Yeah.
I know he has tremendous ability, but there was no way in my mind that I'm thinking, yeah, he's going to walk into Ohio State and beat up on that defense, which it just keeps it keeps creating new studs. I didn't have my eyes on Arvell Reese entering the year, and now you see these new studs keep getting made in the lab at Ohio State. So I didn't think Arch Manning would even declare, and I didn't have a first round grade on him because there's nothing to grade. A few games against UL Monroe and
Yeah.
UTSA. I'm not
Yeah.
grade. I'm sure I'll grade those games, but I'm not gonna grade. I'm not gonna give you an A+ because you beat up on such an inferior opponent.
Yeah.
It's
And when they came out with these rankings of the quarterbacks for this draft and all that, I was like, really? No. These guys are not first round graded quarterbacks. They really aren't. But my star of the day certainly is Mr. Mendoza.
Yeah, he is my favorite quarterback in the 2026 draft class. And he's not a one-year starter. He was very, very solid for California last year. And that is someone that star of the day, star of the season for Indiana. And I don't know how you specifically graded him, but that's definitely a top 10 player in this coming draft class. And he's my first QB, and I don't see myself moving off of him for someone like Ty Simpson or Dante Moore.
No. And I don't think Dante Moore even comes into this draft. I don't think he does.
I think that's a separate conversation. I think he should. I don't think he does.
I think he needs another year of university, and I think he's going to be smart enough to stay in university.
Yeah, I think for his play, so Dante Moore does need another year of development, but I don't think that's the smart move with the way the NFL draft has been moving. I think with the trends, I think he should declare he'll be a top 10 pick. This is a very QB needy draft, especially with how thin it was last year. A lot of teams who needed QBs just skipped completely on QB.
Yeah,
I think Moore could benefit a lot by getting drafted this year, but I think he will go back to school, and I will be talking about him again 1 year from today.
Yeah. And again, it was just the way that they had these guys all ranked, and it was, are you kidding me? No. There's just no. I don't understand. I still don't get the passion that everybody has about having a first round quarterback. Well, why? Because you got him for a 5th year on his contract? Oh, big deal. Big whoopee ding. I don't care where you get drafted at. If you are a good enough quarterback, you will get your second contract. You will be just fine in life and all this other good sort of stuff.
Yeah.
If you need talent at other positions, it's the offensive line guys that everybody needs. Everybody needs offensive linemen. Are there great ones this year? Not so many. But again, if you don't have a good offensive line in front of these quarterbacks get killed in the NFL. That's the end of the story, right?
That's actually a fantastic point. And I fully agree, because I think if we look at the Saints projection right now, they're at pick 2. There's no way that they should take a quarterback. Even if you take in a hypothetical world, if you take trading down off the board completely, I'm still not taking a quarterback. That would be like the 5th straight year you take a quarterback. Give Shuck a chance. You gave Rattler a chance. He wasn't even bad, but I get it. You spent that second rounder on Tyler. Give him a chance. He looked good in his first start. He beat a division rival Panthers that were coming off a big win. In my last mock draft, I'm not trading down yet or anything. I took trading down off the board. I'd give Jeremiah Love at pick 2. I think Kamara's coming off that team, and then they'd be stuck with Devin Neal, who's a very good complementary back. But like you said, surround these guys with talent.
Yep.
Tackle, first round pick 2 years in a row. Give a running back or a receiver to a team like the Saints rather than a QB. You just keep wasting time.
And this is what NFL scouting rooms have become, is a waste of time as far as I'm concerned, and especially when certain owners get involved in the equation, it just becomes an absolute nightmare. There's just no need to rush these guys onto the field either. There is no need for that.
I fully agree, but the people that would disagree with you are the head coaches that are on the hot seat, or the general managers that are on the hot seat, because they need these guys to ball out to save their job. But I think something that can help what we're saying about development is you put Jackson Dart in very early, he looks good, and the head coach still gets fired. Brian Daboll gets fired.
Yeah.
So maybe sitting your QB behind a veteran, letting him develop, is a good idea.
The guy that everybody really likes, Mahomes, he waited for a year. He did not play. There you go.
Some of the best sat, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Lamar Jackson, he sat.
Lamar Jackson sat behind,
Joe Flacco.
Joe Flacco was there. You need time to develop.
Absolutely.
To be able to play in the NFL. If Archie wants to come out into the draft and throw like his Uncle Peyton did this first year, could you imagine Peyton Manning in this social media age now going through that? He would have been destroyed.
No, that's something that every QB, I think, if we're talking one for one, someone like Fernando Mendoza can probably start week 1 for the Miami Dolphins. Heavy RPO offense.
Yeah.
Average interior offensive line, good weapons. Saying, let's say Tyreek were to be healthy, that's Mendoza can go 1-for-1 fit. But if he goes to someone like the Cleveland Browns, they're probably getting a new head coach. They're getting a lot of new personnel. That's going to be an entirely new offense. Give him a few minutes to sit behind a veteran. Let him learn that new offense.
Let him learn.
If it's not a 1-for-1 of what he's done, then why are we going to expect a lot from him? People might not grasp how difficult the sport of football is at the quarterback position. So
and again, since Mr. Carroll is here this evening, Caleb Downs, I don't care if he is the 2nd, 3rd, 4th pick overall. This man is a football player, and he needs to be drafted accordingly. I don't care what his position is. I really don't.
Yeah, no, I think that's definitely a top 5 grade in the entire draft. And I understand if you're not taking him, right? Every team has their own needs. But wherever the Washington Commanders or the Cincinnati Bengals or even potentially the Las Vegas Raiders, if it's a thinner QB class, these are teams that need defense, and you need it everywhere, right? If Caleb Downs can stop the run, if he can cover the pass, that's a valuable player. And to the Saints, I don't know at pick 2, because like we said, you want to help your quarterback, and you only have Chris Olave doing that right now, and I don't think Kamara is going to be on that team next year. But if they start winning a few games with Tyler Shuck, I'm sure Caleb Downs comes into that conversation.
And as I reminded everybody when they were picking on Tyler Shuck last year in this old draft, Shuck was the number 1 QB at the Oregon University. He was ahead of Justin Herbert. Don't discount that man's abilities just because he had injuries.
I finished with a 4th round grade on him, and not that I grade injuries per se, but if I'm grading the player as a whole. So if I see 3 games from you each year, then we're kind of spreading it, and I finished with a 4th round grade on him, and I think he might make me eat my words. He might shove that draft grade somewhere I might not be pleasant with, because he looked good in that first start. And I get it, it's a first start. Defenses didn't have film on him at the NFL level, but that was a very good first start with not much. He's not working with much. Good tight end, good left tackle, good right tackle, and good Chris Olave. That's about it.
Yeah. But again, you have the talent on the line. And if you don't have the offensive line talent in front of you, you end up getting killed. And I'm so sick and tired of all the NFL fans out there and the media especially who go after these young quarterbacks that they can't play, blah blah. That's a whole bunch of BS. If they had 5 guys that are playing decently in front of them, anybody can be a good quarterback. Anybody.
Well, with an attestment to that, CBS Sports had former Titans general manager Rand Carthen grade picks, and that was all over Twitter. I was all over X the last few days. I think he gave Cam Ward a C+ grade and Jackson Dart a B- grade. I mean, these guys have started like 9 games. Not even Jackson Dart started like 6, and you're throwing these grades out into the open.
It's so it's absolutely asinine.
Yeah, that's silly. I mean, you're a grown up, and it's not just him. It's not just former GMs. It's people all over the world with different brands. You can't be grading players after 6 games, 9 games. Even I'll give you 1 season. You can say a player is playing well or playing poorly, but to actually put a grade on these games, I think is ridiculous. I'm not grading them. I'm saying, oh, he's playing good, he's playing bad. He could build on this. He needs to work on that, and that's about it. And then you move on to the next season.
I mean, Troy Aikman was the first overall draft pick. He went 1-15 that first season. Everybody would have destroyed that guy as far as his mental aspect went and everything else if this internet world was alive then. Oh yeah, what did he do? Oh yeah, just won 3 Super Bowls. That's it. That's all. People don't have the patience that they need.
Yeah. It's progressively getting worse too. We see every year these quarterbacks that have a bad season get shipped off or get benched, and then you'll see rebounds like Baker Mayfield, who wasn't even bad. He had a bad year and an injury riddled year, and they got rid of him, and now he's firmly in the MVP race. He's a stud. He's a top 10 quarterback. I mean,
that's again. I mean, everybody was writing that guy off. And I never did write Mayfield off.
I never wrote him off. I think it was silly. It was unfortunate for him to go to the Panthers because I also never wrote Darnold off. I had high hopes for him as a Panther, but he had badly hurt his ankle, a high ankle sprain or something like that in his first year with the Panthers. But to have 2 of those studs in that QB room, I knew one of them was going to get the low end of the stick. Unfortunately, they both did, and now they're both, I'd say,
succeeding quite nicely in Seattle and Tampa Bay.
Both succeeding, and I think the Panthers would love to have one of them right now.
And yes, Terry Paxton Bradshaw took 4+ seasons to become a top-tier QB. That is very true, Mr. Carroll. And he used to call his own damn plays too. Oh. The over usage of the OC to me drives me off the deep end because that's when I grew up watching football. Was these quarterbacks could call their own plays? Roger Staubach, Terry Bradshaw, Fran Tarkington, they called their own plays.
I'm pretty sure my father thought that QBs called their own plays as someone who played football himself. He thought QBs called their own plays for pretty much most of my life. That's how he taught me growing up until I realized, oh, no, it's either the head coach or the offensive coordinator, or rarely you'll have the guys like Peyton Manning, Russell Wilson, Tom Brady just start calling their own plays because they have the mind for it. But yeah, I do agree. There are certain players that at the QB position that could call plays and not waver one bit from what their coordinator's doing and maybe even improve.
And intelligence does not equate football knowledge.
Oh, definitely.
Terry Bradshaw is not the smartest guy in the tool shed, but you know what? That man was a hell of a good quarterback.
Oh, definitely.
That's the bottom line of that. But again, who was your star of the day today, Julian?
So this might be a controversial take. I'm going to give it to Marcel Reed, Texas A&M QB. And I'll give the reason, obviously. He starts off bad. All over, people are trashing him, saying this guy was never an NFL QB. barely a college QB. And I thought it was harsh, but everyone has a bad game. You know, like we say, getting out coached, Beamer ball. And he comes back in the second half and absolutely lights it up. Over 300 passing yards. And they win the game. So he's my player because he is the perfect picture of perseverance and talent and not letting a few bad reps get to you. They say when you throw an interception, flush it, move on to the next play. And that's exactly what he did. He flushed it and went on to win the game. So he's my star of the day. Texas A&M QB. Good win for them.
Not a bad choice. This will be the second time that I've selected Mr. Mendoza. 22 of 24, 299 yards, 4 touchdown passes. This guy has the ability to find his receivers right on the mark.
Oh, yeah. Pinpoint accuracy.
Pinpoint accuracy as well. That's the thing that Mendoza – this is why he was always going to be a higher ranked quarterback for me this year than other people thought of him. Because I saw him do that at Cal, I knew he could do this with Indiana. And again, I have Mr. Surratt as the most NFL-ready wide receiver in this group. The most NFL-ready. That doesn't mean he's going to be the high pick.
Yeah.
Like Egbuka, okay? Like Egbuka last year was, again, my number one wide receiver. I didn't care that Travis Hunter was doing what he was doing in the Big 12 and all that. I didn't care. Egbuka was the best wide receiver last year.
That's
Bottom line.
It's working out for you right now, that take.
Yeah, but again, this goes to the other side of the football too. The year prior, I said Jared Verse was going to be the best edge player in that draft class. Everybody was all over Latu. And I went, no. And they say, why? Because have you not watched Jared Verse stop the run? Hello, yeah. He understands how to set an edge.
That is an anchor. He's literally an anchor. You cannot move him in the run game or in the pass game. He never gets put on his behind. Never.
Bingo. And again, what happened? Oh yeah, Defensive Player of the Year. Thank you very much. You know, this is why the way that ESPN hypes up these players drives me off the deep end. Okay, it really does.
Not a fan of Mel Kiper.
Well, Mel is just Mel, right? I mean, but it's just the way that they all hype up these guys from these certain schools all the time. Blah 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 blah, and well, I'll give you another guy. The left tackle from William and Mary last year.
Charles Grant.
Yeah. I was all over Charles Grant.
I liked him, and I think he's on the Raiders, so that's just right now it's a bad spot. They're looking. They moved Jackson Powers Johnson to guard after a great year at center, like that. You know, maybe that's not the greatest situation for him, but I agree that athletic ability and the tape you put up at that level of football, it's dominant there. So it's good to project as a rookie or something in the NFL that he'll struggle, but yeah, he had great tools to build on.
Yeah. But again, everybody's focused on the guys from the SEC, the Big Ten school. No, college football is a lot bigger than just the Power Four guys. There's a lot of very good players at every level of college football.
Absolutely. Every single team has a good player.
Yeah. You know, and people just don't spend the time like you and I do watching these guys.
Yeah, well, it's a lot easier to speak than to sit down and be patient. So I think that's where it comes from. You know, it's easier to just talk about anything, but it's more difficult to sit down, understand the game of football, and actually have to form your own opinions on these players.
Yeah, it boggles my mind how people just dismiss these guys. Though it's just it drives me to no end. And again, like I said, I don't care if Caleb Downs does go second. I could care less where that man gets picked this year. He needs to be taken by anybody in round one. I don't care that he's a safety. the linebackers this year are very deep. You've got very good linebackers all over this country. Again, it's not a big position, though. No, we shouldn't do that. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that might change this year, I think, because of how deep that linebacker class is. And I'm very happy to see someone shouting out Noah Fafita.
Yeah,
I love Noah Fafita, and I had him as my first QB summer scouting before last year. And unfortunately, it was a very down year for him in that Arizona offense.
yeah.
But I'm glad to see him rebounding. I root for him every single week, and he doesn't have studs on that Arizona offense. You know, it's
No.
I love Ismail Ahmadi at running back, but they don't even use him that often. He plays like 40% of their snaps. So
Yeah.
I'm very happy to see him win that game today and have a fantastic bounce back. Next year is his year.
Yeah. The Georgia Bulldogs are up 14-3 right now on Texas. Texas, why they were still being mentioned in this whole playoff thing on Tuesday night bothered the heck out of me. I'm sorry. They're a name. Yeah, they're a name, but that's all they are. This team is not a playoff ready caliber team like they were last year. They're not.
Oh, definitely not. And this all started what? Because they beat Vanderbilt. Wow, they jumped 10 spots because they beat a 9th ranked Vanderbilt. Yeah. And that was, you see, that's just a well played game, a well coached game. I don't agree with them being top 10. And I think, I knew Georgia was going to win this game. It's not over. Can't count them out. But this is a Georgia game. I think the Bulldogs are better than the
Bulldogs beat them twice last year as well.
Yeah, no.
It's just you go down to between those hedges there in Athens, and you try winning a football game. I mean, this is why Kalen DeBoer got full marks for me, because Alabama did go in there and beat them. That was a great game for them. But you go down between those hedges, it is a very tough place to play football at.
Yeah. And again, I mean, we can't, I will never discount any team that is as good as Texas, as well coached as Texas. But when you lose all that talent in the draft, it's very tough to, it's very tough.
They didn't have the same type of recruits that Ohio State did. Let's put it that way.
Ohio State, like I said, these guys are built in a lab. Scary humans.
They are frightening. And they've got an NFL defensive coordinator who is teaching them how to play the next level.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and no matter what you want to say about him with his time in the NFL, I think he is a genius football coach, Patricia. Yeah. And when you have someone like that teaching you football, with already the amount of talent they have, with McDonald, with Reese, with Downs. Downs has been amazing. Even, that's a guy that could have started probably as a junior in high school. Could have started on an SEC program. What a stud that guy is. And all these guys are going to go to the NFL, and we might not even notice a turnover next year because they have guys waiting in the wings. Just,
it's frightening.
It really is
frightening. Hayes King was your star of the week, Bill. He had a great day today. But again, Georgia Tech's issue is their defense. If this offense does get off to a good start, though, at the end of the month against Georgia, oh Lord, that could be a nightmare for the Bulldogs.
That was a fun game last time they played.
Yep. But it's always a shock to me how everybody just focuses in on the SEC. No. Nobody talks about the other independent school in this country, UConn.
Oh yeah,
they're 8-3. They're 8-3.
Oh yeah, no, they look really good. I don't know if they'll be ranked because they kind of played I think they played Air Force. When you play these these academies in the United States, it's a different level of football. They might not be the best teams, but they're tough to play. They're tough to plan for. But UConn still beat them. Beat them by 2 scores. And Fagnano's looking great. Skylar Bell is a stud and has been for the last two seasons. So they do look good, and they might sneak into the top 25 in either this week or maybe next week if they catch a win.
Yeah. Again, there's another player, Lunt, from last year's Huskies team, that was being overlooked because of their schedule. Do you guys not understand how to play left tackle? Hi. Mr. Lunt plays a very good left tackle. It boggles my mind how people don't understand how a kid could be at a school that isn't an Alabama or a Michigan or an Ohio State or Notre Dame, and we still like the kid.
I'm a big fan of watching college football Tuesday through Friday nights because that's where you get action. That's where you get Conference USA, Sun Belt, whatever. Some random shout out, but I recently graded Florida International's running back Keyshawn Owens. I finished with a 3rd round grade. Nobody talks about him. FIU is not a prestigious school. All they really have going for them right now is their Miami Vice jerseys that they bust out once or twice a year. But Keyshawn Owens at running back is such a stud, and you won't really hear from him unless he blows up the combine or goes to the Senior Bowl, the Shrine Bowl, and then puts on a show. And that's the disadvantage of not playing for one of these Power 4 schools or pretty much Alabama, the SEC. You just don't get noticed by the media and potentially by scouts. The smaller the school, the less scouts they get sent there. You'll have a young area scout.
And FIU plays their home games at Pitbull Stadium. It's Pitbull.
Yeah, that they got a bit of media attention from that because the sponsorship, I think it was I don't know if it was a 3-year deal or $3 million per year deal for 10 years.
10 years.
Pitbull. Yeah, okay, it is 10 years. I think it's $3 million each year for 10 years with Pitbull. They got a bit of media attention. Then they got the Vice jerseys, bit of media attention, but for the actual players, nothing. And I think what's good is Hezekiah Masses of California, the cornerback. He transferred in from FIU. And he's putting on a fantastic season. He's putting on a show week in, week out. He might get drafted pretty highly, which is, it's a testament to what you said. The smaller the school, the less attention they get, and it's pretty unfortunate.
Well, if you watch NFL Draft Central with Bill Carroll and myself, you'll see us go off on the NFL every year because they refuse to draft these kids from the HBCUs. They refuse to, and it just is such a sickening thing that these kids have to always be UDFAs.
Yeah. So it was my first year covering draft content and sort of that type of content just last year. And I was very happy to cover the HBCU bowl game, the Legacy Bowl game.
Legacy Bowl.
So I covered that independently, and that actually kind of sparked me. Got me a lot of followers just in my first, it was my second month creating content. Got me a lot of followers because people are able to recognize that there's not many folks out there covering the HBCU Legacy Bowl game.
Yeah.
And there should be a lot more attention because there's fantastic players everywhere. There was that long snapper from Tennessee State making plays. Yeah. Braylon Ellis was a good player. I had spoken to his father on X during that whole HBCU Legacy game. There's good players. They don't have to be UDFAs, and they deserve a shot.
We had Kendall Paul on last year on Draft Central.
Yeah,
and that young man deserved a spot. He should have been a slot corner in the NFL. I don't care. That's the bottom line of all that. But again, did he get one? No.
Yeah, it's tough, and the immersion of leagues like the UFL, and even the CFL. It's always good to see people get, or even the EFL, the European Football League's actually getting some decent traction over there. So it's great to see players get chances, but the biggest stage is the NFL. Every kid dreams of playing in the NFL, and the ones who actually work hard enough and deserve the chance should get that chance. It doesn't matter where you go to school.
Doesn't matter.
HBCU, whatnot, does it really doesn't matter.
Yeah. No, it really doesn't. Yes, I am a Notre Dame fan. I have been since birth, bottom line. But even when it comes to a player from that school up north, I take that out of the equation when I watch them for the draft.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, school
their uniform doesn't matter.
No,
what matters to me is their abilities. And I love to see a player with a loss. I like to see how they play during that loss. And then I'd like to see them play in a victory. I want to see their attitude. Right? That's the important thing here. Because these guys need to have character.
Yeah, and that is not school dependent. It doesn't matter where you go. Your characters, how you're brought up, and how you learn to adapt to your football environment.
Yeah. No. And it's still 14-3 with 6 minutes left in the second quarter here. Again, you go down to Athens though, and if you've never been down to Athens, Georgia, oh Lord, is that a tough place to play football?
Oh, I'm sure it is. I wouldn't want to be playing quarterback back there.
No,
it's probably shaking. It is definitely shaking over there. You got stadium pulse all the way to the max. I do see. I'm pretty sure C.J. Allen just got injured, the linebacker for Georgia, which is
for Georgia. Yeah,
that's unfortunate. He's a stud too. He's one of those guys that won't get drafted high probably because of that linebacker position, but he might make waves.
Yeah. I mean, no matter where the Cowboys draft this year, they need. Never scout helmets is correct, Bill. Never scout a helmet. And I did that successfully last year because I was all over Will Johnson and the two defensive tackles. I was very high on both of them. I did not care that they were players for that school up north. So there you have it.
No, Will Johnson, the fact he fell into draft that's entirely separate conversation. We talk about scouting helmets. Well, these guys scouted a knee injury a bit too deep, I think.
Savon Revel, the same thing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I had him I had a top 50, maybe top 60 grade on him if I'm remembering correctly, and he went in the third round, which I was happy to see him. Go and he's playing tomorrow. I hope.
He'll play Monday night.
Monday night, yeah. But yeah, he practiced all week, and I'm so excited that the Cowboys defense needs a boost. They need a corner.
Yeah.
And Ravel, I mean, we saw what Quinyon Mitchell could do. That's similar comp, and there were similar off man players, off zone players. Quinyon Mitchell's a top tier corner in the NFL, and I'm hoping Ravel can do the same thing.
Ravel was actually on my list last year. Ravel was the highest guy that I had. Cowboys took him in the third round. Ezaraku was the second guy I had, and he went in the second round. And Booker was my last first round grade player, and he went first.
Yeah. Well, again, you could go with what you need. I knew the Cowboys needed offensive linemen, and I had actually gotten a lot of question marks posting mock drafts last year with the Cowboys taking offensive line. They needed offensive line, and I'm glad they took offensive line. It helps preserve Dak, who's had a few injuries in his career.
Yep. Yeah.
And look at the run game.
And again, look at that one game where 4 out of the 5 offensive linemen are out, and the Cowboys went out and stomped on their opponent. They stomped on them. And
that's a testament to the coaching as well. Give your guys time to develop, throw them out there. It's new film for the team. They really don't know what to expect. And Cowboys, yeah, I remember that game. Cowboys absolutely won.
And again, the whole coaching thing. I mean, Dan Quinn was a very good DC for the Seattle Seahawks. He led the Falcons to a Super Bowl, but his evaluation skills absolutely suck. They suck.
Yeah, but not everyone can be perfect. He has the talent to call plays himself,
Yeah,
but he might not be able to build a specific defense. And we're kind of seeing that this year. I know he's taking over play calling starting tomorrow, but
yeah, but okay, Calvin Joseph, Nashawn Wright, but Mozzie Smith and Luke Schoonmaker, huh?
yeah,
Huh?
Schoonmakers.
No, Darnell Washington was available. Hello, you just take that big boy. You need a running game. You take the big boy.
Yeah, Schoonmakers. I don't know where he'll get a second contract. I mean, I hope he finds a home, but that is not he's not some star player.
And Mozzie, I only like to hit people. I really don't like football. What? Huh? No. When I heard that out of that, I just like, oh no.
Yeah, not a football player. He's just a big angry guy, and it didn't work out for him with the Cowboys. So
Yeah, that was frightening. And then that's when I knew that it wasn't a scout pick. He was not a scout's pick. He was a coach's pick.
Yeah, wanted someone that could fit the scheme, but didn't necessarily find someone that can match the coach to the player and to the team and all that.
Yeah, and again, like when Tyler Linderbaum was being drafted by the Ravens, and everybody says, "Well, he's gonna suck at that because he can." What are you talking about? This is a guy who was in one system in college. It doesn't mean he can't adapt as a player. He's a very good center in the NFL. Thank you very much.
Fantastic, definitely top 5 center in the NFL, and he's gonna get paid.
Definitely. So Marcel Reed was your star of the day. Fernando Mendoza was my star of the day. It was enjoyable having you on here, Julian. Tell everybody what you do.
Yeah, so as I said before, I just started last year writing articles and posting draft prospect breakdowns on X. My handle is in my name over here. It's at @draftlives_here. I do have a YouTube channel with that. I just started posting some YouTube shorts, and those are my main two places where you can find me and talk football with me any time of the day, any day of the week. I will be there to talk about football.
Awesome stuff. And of course, Randall is not here this week. He will be back next week. I'm now Greg Cowboys 1964 because I had somebody steal my account, but okay, you enjoy yourself with whatever you're doing with that account. How that happened is beyond me because I had 2-step verification and all. What? No. But again,
yeah, I social media. Did someone actually take it? Someone's posting on that. Yeah, it's
yeah. So do whatever you're doing, pal. I've got everybody who was following that account blocking it. So whatever.
Yeah.
That was just totally bizarre to me. But hey, that was the second time that account has been nailed like this. So this time I just let it go. First time it took me 10 months to get the account back.
Wow. Yeah. So, you showed resilience just like Marcel Reed if you're doing that.
Yeah. But no more. And I guess it was because the 1964 wasn't there any longer. It wasn't there. It was the great Cowboys. And it's because of the Cowboys name that they went after my account. So, yeah, whatever.
It's all right. New account, new ways to grow, new ways to make friends, followers, and talk about football.
Exactly right. And Tuesday night, I will be back with the blue and silver breakdown after the Cowboys destroy the Raiders. Because again, after that, they get to play the Eagles again, and we'll see what happens in that game. And then the big one, Patrick Mahomes is playing on Thanksgiving Day, and the ratings are going to be sky high.
Yeah. Those are some fun games, and I'm definitely rooting for the Cowboys against the Eagles. I can tell you that.
If that wasn't that hour and 20-minute delay, the Cowboys would have beaten Eagles in week 1.
Yeah, and good game anyway. It's one of those things that week 1 I don't put much. I don't put all my eggs in one basket for week 1. Yeah, Cowboys should have won it. They were off to a good start, but you know what? They're still having a good year with everything that's going against them, whether it's injuries and whatnot, delays in week 1. Still having a good year, and I trust in them to probably make the playoffs.
Well, I'm not quite as hopeful as you as far as the playoffs go, because it's 3-5-1, and they get the Eagles, the Chiefs, the Lions.
Yeah, don't get me started on the Lions. I think the Lions actually are a pretty weak top team. But
well, they still have enough talent.
Absolutely.
Right.
But that's like you said, you're not hopeful for the playoffs, but now it's their time to prove it. You know, they're going to have the chance, and if they win the games, they make the playoffs. It's because they deserved it. So,
yeah. I'm still disappointed in the way that the Commander season turned out, because I was horrified by that. But
yeah, definitely not fun.
You know, your university is looking for a head coach.
Yeah.
Who are they going to end up hiring? Is it going to be Lane?
I don't think so. I mean, it's but with college football, that might be the most unpredictable thing in sports right now. College football is all over the place. I'll say no to Lane Kiffin, but I will say I want Lane Kiffin, but they might go and promote someone from a lower level school.
Yeah,
I don't know who, because I can just throw out predictions that I might want, but I don't think it'll be an inner promotion. I don't think the receiver coach is keeping that job past this year. There's definitely no way.
Yeah. No. It's very, very interesting in this time. It really is. I mean, you see Elko today signing a six-year, $66 million contract, so $11 million a season. Wow. That's a pretty good payday.
Yeah, maybe I'll send my resume into the Florida Gators, see if they want to pay me.
There you go. There you go, my friend. All right. It was a pleasure having you on here, Julian, and everybody else. Next Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, we will be back. And take care, everybody.